Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Eric with FisherDrumming.com, and this lesson is for my beginner drummers out there. We're going to take a look at 16th notes, primarily a 16th note beat. So this lesson is taken out of a new course that I have up on the website. It's a beginner drum lesson course. If you don't know anything about the drums and you're just jumping in, this course is going to teach you where to start and everything you need to know to be a good drummer. But this 16th note beat lesson is for somebody who already knows some basics on the drums and they just need help getting to the next level. You know, sometimes we get stuck in a rut, we play the same old beats and we need something new. We need some more knowledge and we need some direction. So just to give you a little background on me, I actually remember learning this beat when I first started playing the drums when I was 8 years old. This was one of the first beats I learned, and it was something that really helped me improve. It took me out of the basic 8th note groove because now I had better use of my left hand and I could go back and forth between the hi-hat and the snare. So some of you already know how to count 16th notes, but some of you might not. So just to review, a 16th note, if we're looking at one measure of 4/4 time, which it would be 4 quarter notes in one measure, we're going to count this as 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, those snaps that I was doing, those were the quarter notes. Each quarter note, we have 4 16th notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So for those of you that don't know, now you know. So first off, all of the notes are going to be played in this measure. We're not leaving any breathing room here. Every 16th note has a place, and every 16th note is going to land on one of your hands. The most basic 16th note groove you would want to know is count your 16th notes on the hi-hat and then bring your right hand over on 2 and 4. This would be good starting knowledge to at least know how to play a basic 16th note groove in one measure. And the most basic way to start it out is just leave your kick drum out and just practice 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. I want you to be able to count it out as you're playing. Then add your kick drum on 1 and 3. And once you can play that, then join me on this next part. So for some of you, that might just be enough for now. That might be enough for you to practice, and you need to pause the video and just work on that. So do that. Don't move on until you already know how to play this, okay? You need to know how to play this basic 16th note groove in order to start displacing some of these notes and playing more of the snare drum. I want you to get that first. So pause the video, practice, and then pick it up after you understand this. So what makes this 16th note groove sound cool is that we're going to be adding our snare drum in 2 more times from the previous example of your basic 16th note beat. So look at the sheet music with me. As you can see, we have some letters on the bottom, R, L, L, and then another R, okay? The first R stands for the right hand on the snare. Now, the first left hand's coming in on the A of 2. So 2 E and A. Then we have the E of 3, 3 E, and then we're finishing it off as far as the last note of the snare is going to be on 4 like normal. So those 2 left hands are coming in places that you might not be used to adding a snare in, but that's what's going to make this beat have a nice, cool, different feel to it, and that's the kind of stuff we want to be learning. How to incorporate some ghost notes in your beats and make it sound a little bit more texture, a little bit more tasteful. So the next thing we need to do is have you get that sticking down, where you bring that across. And we're going to just break up this measure into a few different parts so you can take one bite at a time and not be overwhelmed. So let's take the first half of the measure. What I want you to do is just take your sticks and play that first half with me. Okay, one note at a time. I'm going to go to a really slow BPM so you can follow along. Now that you got that down, let's look at the next part. All we're going to be looking at is the next following notes, 2 notes after the of 2. 2 16th notes more. All you're doing is just alternating your right and your left hit is hitting 2 times in a row. So let's check it out. Okay, so now you know up to the E of 3. So what we want to do is just take it up to 4. Take it all the way up to beat 4. So just the next 3 notes. And that's just going to be right, left, and then on beat 4. Now you're bringing your right hand for the last snare note of the measure. So altogether we have 1 E and a right, left, left, right. Okay, so now you can see it's coming together, it's sounding good, it's sounding more like a beat, and all we have to do is add those last 3 16th notes in, which is going to be E and that's going to be on the hi-hat to finish it off. Okay, now you've learned the hands, you've learned the sticking for the groove. All we're going to do now is look at the kick drum and where it falls, and that's going to be a pretty simple thing to add in. The kick drum is going to fall on beat 1, and then it's going to come in one more time on the and of 3. So both times the kick drum comes down, it's going to be landing with the right hand on the hi-hat. Most of the time it's going to be pretty easy to start off the measure with the kick drum. And remember, you want to make it clean. Both of your notes are coming down at the same exact time. So now I'm going to show you the whole beat with the kick drum, with everything included, and I'm going to loop it for you so you can get familiar with how it sounds, and when you're ready, jump in and play along with me. I'll show you it at a couple different tempos as well, because it sounds pretty cool once you start to speed it up a little faster. not all of your snare notes have to be the same dynamics, which means how loud you are playing them. The main notes that your snare drum wants to really cut through in a higher dynamic range is on 2 and 4. The left hands that we're adding in can be a little bit lower of a dynamic range, even sometimes if you want to ghost note it. Since you are just learning how to incorporate your left hand in these type of beats, I don't want you to get too bogged down and too stressed out about getting that perfect though. I just want you to be able to play the groove all the way through. It's okay if your left hand's at the same dynamic level as your right, but if you want to start to clean this up even more and polish it off, that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so now you guys know how to play the 16th note beat, and I want to show you what it can sound like played at 100 beats per minute when you get it up to speed a little faster and you start incorporating more ghost notes and more little fills into it. It can be a pretty cool groove and a great time, so check it out, and this is what it sounds like. So thanks for sticking with me again, and I'll see you on the website, or I'll see you here on YouTube for another lesson where drumming is made simple. Take care and have a great time practicing.